a small panel tonight of extraordinary beer experts. More actually just people that like drinking different beers. The problem is that we scheduled this beer and almost no one could find it. Paul called me from Texas yesterday. He said, I cannot find it. I said, I don't know what to tell you. I've tried to find it. He went to a beer store today in the Houston area. They said, okay, we're going to call the distributor. They call the distributor. They looked on the computer. Nowhere in the huge city of Houston has it. I said, that is bizarre. I bought this bottle of Bigfoot. Oh, yeah, I didn't say what we're doing. Bigfoot Ale, Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. I bought this at either I bought this at Martin Wine Cellar or at Stein's Deli. It's not rare here in New Orleans. And Eric, you said you couldn't, Eric Anderson, you couldn't find it at first?
Yeah, the only reason I was able to get it eventually is because I went to my local OBC pub, like the best, where I get all my beers. And they didn't have any the first time I went. So when I went back, I talked to the owner, and the owner had a private reserve, and he hoards it. So luckily, I'm friends with him, and I was able to get. He actually even offered. He said, "Oh, I have 2007, 2008. I should have got 2007."
Wow.
Really, I didn't want to. I was just grateful that I could get the beer. I should have been greedy. In hindsight, I wish I was greedy.
Well, you know, he was nice enough to give it to you out of his private stash, so you may.
This one is also out of my private stash. I have one 2013 remaining, but I had two of these. I don't know if you can read that. 2014.
Yeah. I've got a 2014 as well. I haven't seen 2015 yet.
I saw Jay on Facebook. I don't know if it was the other day or last week at some point. But he also, as well as I've tried it before, and I have one still in the cellar. We both have had the barrel aged version as well.
No, I've not had that. I just posted,
you didn't try that yet?
No, I just posted a photo to show people that it's available.
Oh yeah, mine cost. The first time I found the barrel aged version, it was $17 in my town, and I didn't buy it, and I was angry that I didn't. So I found it at a little bottle shop outside of Boston for $25 a bottle, and I bought 2 of them.
Yeah, well, you have a lot of money. Other people don't. And like Jean-Pierre, I think that's what happened to him. You know, he's a movie and TV ramble. He went to find it in Mobile. Couldn't find it. He couldn't find it. Finally found it. He told me today he found a bottle for $21, a bomber
Just one bottle of the unbarrel aged version?
He didn't buy it, but I think what he found, he probably found the barrel aged and didn't notice it was the barrel aged. But I wouldn't have paid that much either. Okay, well, so a lot of people couldn't make it because they couldn't find the beer. Other people had to work. Brian had to work. Who else had to work? Somebody else told me they had to work tonight. And
definitely not Maria. Tanya probably did.
She wasn't able to get it. She wanted to get it. John Sharon had this impromptu beer tasting that was scheduled for him.
My thoughts on the beer and finding the beer is, once Sierra Nevada tells you, at least in my area, once Sierra Nevada tells you that the current year's version of Bigfoot is available to buy and purchase, it's usually at big beer stores that sell a lot of different beers. It's usually pretty easy to find. At least that's what I think.
Yeah. Now let me say,
it's fresh and available of the current year's version.
Yeah. They sell a lot of it. They sell a lot of it at Martin Wine Cellar. Let me say this. I have a 2013 that I'm aging. I'm trying to take the 2013 and not drink it till 2018. I don't know. 2018. I don't know if I can make it, but I have a bunch of these type of beers aging. I have Old Foghorn from Anchor, which I can't find now for some reason, from 2013. I have the what's the one from North Coast? The I have that one aging, I think, from 2013.
God, I'm mourning the 2007 now. Why didn't I just tell him, give me that damn 2007? Dumbest.
Well, too bad for you. And hey,
tell me need it next week.
You were trying to be nice. And I have the Brooklyn Monster from 2012, which is no longer made. They didn't make it past 2012, so I'm trying
and one of the main reasons that I bought it was it was pretty cheap for what it was. It's like $8 for a 4-pack. That was a pretty good price when I bought it.
Yeah, none of these were expensive that I paid. Not too expensive. Oh, it's North Coast Old Fall, not Old Fall, but North Coast Old Stock Ale.
Yes.
And that's what I have in the fridge, and I believe that's from 2012 or 13. Okay, well, I saw the 2015 Old Stock, and I bought that one for our examination coming up. So heads up. Before we start examining this, I'm going to give you all a heads up of what's coming up. We're going to do mostly run-of-the-mill beers because everybody can get those. We picked these exotic ones, and people can't get them. We got Bigfoot tonight. Next week is Guinness Nitro IPA. I know everybody can get that because I saw it at Walmart, okay? We've got the Old Stock Ale coming up the last Wednesday in November, and I don't know if anybody can get it. I have a bottle, but we got another one on December 2nd that could be a really big problem for people to get. It's Presidente from Dominican Republic. Now on December.
So far, I've only seen 12.
If you can't get this beer for December night, you just don't want to be part of this anymore. Just tell me I don't want to do it. You don't have to feel bad. I won't be angry. It's Miller Lite.
Ooh.
Miller Lite. So if somebody tells me they can't find that, I'm going to get aggravated. All right. I know they're lying. Old Foghorn on the 16th.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but I may not be able to find it. How can I host it if I can't?
Well,
Find it. Here's one on December 23rd. Natural Light.
Yummy.
I bet you can find Natural Light. And then the 30th, I don't know yet. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's get on to this beer, but it's good to let it warm a little bit, I guess. Now, I've noticed, Eric, you had it's got a kind of a beige head, huh?
Yeah, it's that Imperial beer style, kind of that khaki-colored head.
Yeah, not beige.
Small khaki-colored head.
Yeah, it's like bone-colored, huh?
Yeah, and it's got some small bubbles. I wouldn't say this head looks rocky at all, like you were skipping stones in it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm looking at Eric's, and yours is kind of a red, and I'm getting that rust red. It's kind of a rust red type thing, copper.
There's more light.
Yeah, I would say rust. Yeah, that's a good description for that.
How do you describe it? Plum? Like if you... The plum skin? I don't know.
I think outside the light, it's kind of outside of light. It looks kind of on the purplish side.
Yeah, it's nighttime.
It looks more like that rust color, like you were describing.
Yeah. It's definitely in the red and brown area, right?
And it's definitely an unfiltered beer for sure.
Oh yeah, because the bottom of my bottle is caked with stuff, and I have only a year-old bottle like you now. Eric. Yeah. Anderson, what town is he in California?
Ojai. That's why this is Ojai Beverage Company. Yes.
Ojai? How do you spell that?
Ojai. We're famous for having Reese Witherspoon have her wedding here.
Wow.
A lot of stars live here. It's a weird little mountain town that's known for being hippies. Like if you live here, you have to wear your baby in burlap, and you have to eat organic veggies and
shop at Whole Foods. Where?
No, not you have to shop. You don't shop. You go to your local farmer and your local organic farmer and pick up your heirloom tomatoes and your kale.
Right. I'm sorry for bringing up a capitalist entity. Like Whole Foods. Where is that town located?
It's just north of LA.
Oh, not one of those valleys like Laurel Canyon or anything like that.
No, it's pretty. It's about it's like 80 miles.
Oh, 80 miles. Oh, okay, I got you. I'm always curious about geography, so I always ask these type of questions. Plus, I would like to make a second trip to California to wrap up the baseball trips, which is I'm closing that out slowly.
We're like 40 minutes from Santa Barbara, which is
yes,
a nicer place.
Santa Barbara.
Woo.
Okay, Anyway, enough of geographical explorations. I know Eric is in the actual city of Boston.
I live in the city of Mansfield. Actually, that's how I know Eric Anderson, because he used to live in my town up until probably 99 or 2000, I guess, is when you moved to California.
It was 2004.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, in high school. Yeah, I'm in Mansfield, which is about 35, 40 minutes, depending on traffic, south of Boston, and I'm about 30 minutes north of Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, okay, so you're not too far from like Foxborough Stadium.
No, that's about maybe 15 minutes from my house.
Okay.
If I look outside my house on a Sunday while they're playing, I can see the lights.
Yeah, and I'm about 20. I'm in Laplace, which is about 20 miles west of New Orleans. Okay.
Whee!
We're right next to the Mississippi River, one of those river towns. All right. Now this aroma is so pungent, right? It's kind of sweet and kind of, I don't want to say duck sauce, y'all, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you mean. It's very, it's very like yeasty, bready, brown bread, dank, sugary, hoppy, oily notes.
Yeah, it does have some India Pale Ale character.
Yeah, this has to be one of the hoppier examples of an American barley wine. I mean, American barley wines are going to be hoppier than an English variety, but this one, it's got to be one of the hoppiest barley wines, period, that you can find on the market. It's got to be. I think it's over 100 IBUs according to their website, I think.
Wait, I have the website right here, and I think it's 90. From my recollections, they age it. Okay, well, you know, this beer is fermented in open vats, like they do at Samuel Smith's. Sweet. Yeah, it's 90 international bitterness units.
There you go.
It's 9.6% alcohol, so round off to 10%. 9.6. It fluctuates. The barley malts are two-row pale and caramel. That's it.
There's definitely caramel in that.
Huh?
I said there's definitely caramel in the scent. Now that you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, and the hops are Chinook, and then they finish it with Cascade, Centennial, and Chinook. And they say you should pair it with pungent blue cheese. Well, that sounds good. And then bread pudding. I don't know about that. Mission figs and medjool dates. Okay, so like Mediterranean food. Okay, Eric, what do you get? Eric Anderson. We got two Erics. So what are you getting on the aroma?
Yeah, there's a very slight. You kind of get that very, very slight alcohol smell, but
yeah, it's
pretty much. I mean, that brown bread, absolutely, like that malty little caramel, like brown sugar smell almost, you know.
Yes, and I was going to say something else about the aroma. Maybe like those California raisins, the yellow raisins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see there being some kind of a real distinctive kind of a dark fruit soaked in like alcohol and woody notes and burnt sugar kind of notes too.
Yeah, and I'm saying light fruits though, those golden raisins.
Maybe not burnt sugar, but definitely like it says a caramelized, sugary kind of a scent, almost like when you make a creme brulee, that kind of sugary smell almost.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think the beer has a lot higher, has a more distinctive aroma than just that.
I don't know if you watched my review of Caldera Opportunity Knox, and I was saying I wish I would not have answered the door. I mean, that beer, it smelled and tasted like turned fruit. It was like rancid.
Oh, right.
This beer, it's heading that way. Like, if you take a good sniff, it's like it's starting to turn because it's so strong, but it's not. But this is a barley wine. You know, I don't mind that. If I'm drinking an IPA, I don't want to get those. I don't want to pick up those type of notes. Okay.
That's more of a. I mean, those slightly, like you were saying, those slightly turned kind of fruit notes are more stylistic, and it's more appropriate in a barley wine than it would be in, say, a really big IPA, I think. I mean, you can get all the citrus notes, and I'm getting a lot of that hoppy, oily, citrusy kind of feel out of the beer, but it doesn't feel like it's gone out of style.
Yeah, and the scary thing about the Caldera was it was only 6.5% alcohol. It wasn't like some 9% double IPA, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, something was wrong with that. But anyway, I think we should get to the taste because I've already been cheating. Anyway.
There's the lacing. It looks like snow.
Oh, that lacing is like whipped cream.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, there is a I wouldn't say there's a burn, but you do have a noticeable alcohol presence inside of this beer for damn sure.
You know what, though?
Let me tell you something. I shook up the bottom of the bottle and loosened the sediment, and I poured it in. This thing is totally opaque now. It is just like opaque brown orange. Tan. Okay, what, Eric Anderson?
I would say that it is less alcoholic and less sweet than almost all other barley wines that I tried. In that taste, that alcohol taste, and that cloying sweetness that I often see in a barley wine, this barely has that compared to most other ones that I've tried.
Yeah, it's not really sickeningly sweet or anything like that. Now, a lot of people say, you know, and I agree with this. They say, "Oh, I can't." Now, as Eric Anderson was saying that, "Oh, I can't take these barley wines too much." Well, heck, I only drink them 2 or 3 times a year, and you were saying you used to drink them every day. Oh yeah, I could. No way.
I would be feeling good after a week of barley wine, or after 2 days of barley wine.
It seemed like it would wreck your whole body, like you would ill a lot.
Over the course of having this beer over a number of years and trying it again, I really do think that if you don't realize that if you've never tried barley wines, but you really, really, really like your IPAs or double IPAs or really hoppy beers, you actually really, really, really might enjoy this beer. It's got a really nice, pronounced, hoppy, oily, resinous, dank kind of a, almost like going to a Leonard Skinner concert and smell kind of taste.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
Black Sabbath. Never mind that. But it's definitely got that oily, hoppy note in the background of all of that sugary, almost turned fruits, like you were saying, flavor, to me at least.
Yeah.
Very yeasty.
It's oily, it's dank, it's brown bread, it's spiced bread. It's like a lot of bread. Okay, so if you don't like very bitter, fruitcake type bread, that the emphasis is on bitterness. Don't you get that bitterness in the back of the mouth, back of the sip?
Absolutely.
It's not a dry finishing beer at all.
Yeah, you would not like this beer. I mean, this thing is heavy. This is not a joke. And he even says it on their website. This beer is now they're not like, I think, Lagunitas and Stone. They're not snarky, right? Because those people, they irritate me with their, quasi-hip descriptions, but this beer is just saying, they're saying, Sierra Nevada gives it to you straight, like they're saying. Listen to this. Bigfoot is a beast of a beer, brimming with bold flavors of bittersweet malt and heaps of aggressive whole cone Pacific Northwest hops. I agree, it's a beast of a beer, and it is brimming with bold flavors. Now, and it says barley wine style. What does that mean? They explain it. Strong, robust, bruiser. With the refined intensity of a wine. Now, and then they talk about how you can age it. Now, I like Sierra Nevada's presentation. They're not talking about you're not worthy, you can't handle it, don't buy the beer because you're a wuss and all that. But what they're saying about the beer is accurate. Okay, what were you going to say?
Not all barley wines, and probably most people that are watching this, I would assume, are interested in barley wines or interested in different beer styles. But not all barley wines are created equal.
No.
In that, I say a traditional English barley wine is going to be nothing like an American style, like Bigfoot at all. It's not going to have those big, pungent, Cascade and Chinook and Centennial type hoppy West Coast flavors. It's not going to feel like a West Coast IPA in the hop department like an English would. It doesn't feel that way.
Hey, I'm going to name one that you're talking about, but it's not made in England, but it's made with the English style in mind.
Sure.
And this is called Shipyard Double Old Thumper. You ever had Shipyard's Double Old Thumper?
Actually, no.
That is made, now look, that beer is like an old ale, they call it, or whatever, you know. It's the same thing as this. It's really a barley wine.
Yep.
That beer is in 22-ounce bottles. It might be 24-ounce.
Yeah.
You usually get it for $8.99, so it's not too expensive. And it's a twist cap, just like Bigfoot used to be a twist cap when it first came out.
Wow.
Yeah, when it first came out in 1983, and then you weren't supposed to have twist caps. But
yeah, some people go crazy about that.
that double bastard. I mean, what am I saying? Well, that's another example of the West Coast barley wine. But the Double Old Thumper.
Yep.
Is 11% alcohol.
Woo!
Jeff Lyons and myself made a video where we were examining it, and we drank the whole bomber, and it was like, oh man,
This has been fun.
It was really kind of intimidating because at the end of the video, we're like, oh, what are we talking about? You know, it's like, it's just too strong. You have to share it.
Yeah.
But we did drink it alone, but it doesn't have the intense hoppiness. It's more sweeter, you know. It's,
yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think of when I hear the term. When there's one distinctive beer style, say like like we're sort of talking about IPAs. You have English IPA, and then you have American IPA, and then to me, when you say American, you're thinking it's going to be a bigger, hoppier, sort of a flavored beer than their English counterpart's going to be. And that's exactly what's going on with this English barley wine, or with this American-style barley wine. Definitely is hop forward and then hop intense.
Yes, and I think what happened with the Guinness Nitro IPA, much like with the Bass IPA that didn't last long, is that Americans were approaching those thinking they're going to be drinking Sierra Nevada Torpedo, right? So they drank it and they say, oh, it's not an IPA. They did it wrong. And they named all the things I knew they were going to name.
Yeah, right.
I said, wait a minute. And then some people even said, what do these English people know about IPAs? You know, I mean, these people are. I said, wait, time out.
They brought America IPA.
Yeah, you need to read the history of India Pale Ales, and you need to understand that the British style is a whole lot different than the American.
A man named Michael Jackson, not the singer.
Right. So, so when we do the Guinness Nitro IPA next week, it'll be interesting to look at that one because I think a lot of people are taking that totally wrong, and they're not studying their history too well. But
right.
back to Eric Anderson, and I want to ask you this, Eric Anderson. When I drink this beer, and Eric Fraunfelter too, when I drink this beer, sometimes it makes me think, and this will sound bizarre, it makes me think of brandy.
Wow. Brandy. I don't think I've ever had brandy before, but I can sort of see why you would say that.
I've had brandy, and I might do a. Remember I was doing that video project called Off Track.
Say hello, Andy.
Hello. Uh-oh.
There's a bandmate.
Hello. Well, we're about to stop, sir, so we're not going to mess up your practice. But I might start a little side project where I do brandies, which I don't know much about brandy. All I know is the name came from burnt wine.
It was invented by some guy named Alexander, right?
Now, burnt wine, no. Burnt wine, brandy wine, okay? It's a distilled wine. It's a wine, but it's distilled like a whiskey. And if you ever drink a brandy like, you could say an inexpensive brandy like E&J, Ernest and Julio Gallo brandy. Drink that wine, that brandy, and you'll notice a lot of similarities with this beer. Is it going to be the same? No, but you're going to notice some similarities with that kind of bitterness, that woodiness, that caramel, and then of course brandy is very high alcohol, just like this. So you wouldn't want to drink too much of it, or you're going to really run into some Well, you know.
Barley wines are not a session style ale.
Well,
You
not
fill
that,
this
it's
up with
still-
brandy and drink it all? Is what you're saying?
What?
I shouldn't fill this with brandy and then drink it all?
No, because
No,
considering it's usually around what 40% alcohol or 30% alcohol.
no, don't drink a pint of it, Eric Anderson.
That's
No.
not a pint. That's 32 fluid ounces.
Yeah, you'll just die.
No brown sugar substitute challenging here with brandy.
More videos, that's all. But back to this, and not to get too silly, but well, it's a very rich, exotic beer. It's a shame that it's not too widely available because most of our compatriots couldn't even get it. But would you buy it again? I know what I'm going to say, but
Yeah.
what do y'all say about it?
Absolutely, yes. It's really good. I mean, for what it is, I don't think I could really think of a barley wine that's superior. I think it actually. I am an admitted Stone freak. I just absolutely love everything Stone ever made, and I compare pretty much everything to Stone. I think it's better than Old Guardian by a good hand. It's probably the best barley wine I've ever had. It's very smooth. I like the bitterness. It stops it from being cloying. It's rich. It's got just a really deep woodsy flavor that really carries it through without feeling too much, without being too sweet, without being too alcoholic. It feels very well balanced between the malts and the hops. It's a very good beer.
And what about the price? $2.49 for a bottle.
That's pretty ridiculously awesome.
That's what I paid.
What?
Yeah, it's about what I get in my area. I do get the singles as well as the 4-packs.
Really? I mean, I paid $11 for a 4-pack. I mean, it was out of the guy's private reserve, but I paid it was $11 for that 4-pack. Still, I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, that seems very good for the quality beer
That's
again.
not a whole lot more, you know. So Eric Fraunfelter, you would buy it again, eh?
Yeah, I would buy this again.
Thomas Metal.
This Thomas Metal would totally buy this 2 horns up on this beer. This was actually the first beer to your 2013 version. That was the first vintage of beer of barley wine of Bigfoot. And actually, that was the first barley wine. Let me put it this way: that was the first beer I ever started cellaring, and this was the beer that got me into cellaring and aging and trying to do all that whole thing with beer. So this has a very personal and nostalgic place in the bottom of my beer drinking gut. So I would definitely buy this again, and I will continue every year to do so.
Yeah, and I think this is the kind of thing that you could put it in the fridge for like 10 years, right? And check it out.
I don't see how the years would harm this beer. I think what it does, and what I'm noticing even with this year-old version, and thinking about the 2013 version, is every year it seems like the hoppiness of the beer mellows out, and it's not so hoppy every year. And some people may really enjoy that about the beer.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, it also kind of reminds me of Fuller's Vintage Ale.
That beer is delicious. Yes, I
that
agree.
Was a little hoppier. I mean, a little less hoppy, of course, but it's got that strong.
Yeah, I found that the barrel-aged version of this beer was exactly that, and that's what I came to expect when trying the beers. Most people said on the internet that the barrel-aging version, even of the Imperial Stout Narwhal, was that it takes down that hoppy edge to the beer, and it smooths out the flavors, and I would really agree with that as it ages, that it really does round out in the IBU department a great deal.
Now the Fuller's Vintage, it does, yeah, it rounds out. I wish we'd had a 2015. We could have just checked it out, a really fresh one. And see.
Actually, I haven't bought 2015. I may have to find that now that you say that.
This is 2015 that I had.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is fresh.
And you're getting the strong hops.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's very strong with the hops, absolutely, yes. Which I think is
yes,
good.
I would definitely buy it again, in other words.
Before we end this, I will say this. When I did the Fuller's Vintage Ale last year, that company called me and they were like, well, they didn't call me on the phone, but they sent a message. What do you call it? An email. They said, hey, if we send you this beer, would you do a video review of it?
Sweet.
Yeah.
They're an awesome beer company.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to turn that down, right? It's like, no, I would, no, I don't want free Fuller's Vintage Ale. I don't want
Only
that.
the 40-ounce beer crew might.
They might, but you
Well, it's
know,
free beer.
in a company like Fuller's, they can send that out to people, and they know they're going to get good reviews, not because they send it to people for free, because it tastes so good. You know, they're like, I never had Minhas ask me if I wanted to review, you know, a name tag lager or a Oxer lager, because they know I would say it was garbage and people shouldn't buy it, so they're not going to send that to me because
Right. They want an honest
their
opinion.
guts out.
They want a fair opinion of their beer from a fair reviewer.
Oh no, Minhas doesn't want people to review their beer because
Oh, I guess that's what I'm saying about Fuller's. So they
Oh,
want somebody that's fair, that's gonna give it an honest review.
which I always do,
Exactly.
and they know that. And just like Paul Honor sent me the Hack Up Shore and the Paul Honor Oktoberfest beer and their other one. Well, I mean, there's no risk to these companies if they're going to send you really great beers.
Yep.
So, you know, they're going to send you these delicious beers that everybody loves, and then you make a video saying how wonderful it is, and so then that encourages people to go buy more of it. So it's kind of like,
It's free advertisement.
yeah,
It's free
you know,
product placement.
yeah, right. Like if Chevrolet calls me up and says, "Oh, we're going to give you a Camaro SS if you drive it around and you make a video, would you take the SS?" I mean, obviously I would, and if I drove it, I would say how awesome it was because it would be awesome.
That car.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then Dodge says, well, we're going to send you a Challenger. Would you drive it and talk about it? And then Ford calls up and says, forget those two. We're going to send you a Mustang GT. Would you drive? Well, common sense, they're not going to call me up and say, would you want to review a Ford Fiesta base model?
Right.
Enough philosophy. But that's what happens when you drink. But Eric's, that's what happens when you drink Bigfoot. You start to do philosophy.
You think you see things that aren't really there in the wild.
No, it's not a hallucinogen. It's a social lubricant, folks. All right. Well, we all think it's a dynamite beer. I think you would agree with that.
And Andy, my guitar player, says so as well.
And anybody who's never tried it, run, don't walk. Well, you know, that's a figure of speech. To go get this beer, you will love it. You will adore it. I don't know too many people that hate it. Maybe that's why they're saying it's world class and outstanding on Beer Advocate and Rate Beer. So anyway, thanks folks for watching this video production, and we hope everyone has a good, happy, and safe week.